Hey guys, welcome to today's video, and I'm going to start out here by clarifying some things. We're going to talk about volatility in Bitcoin specifically and why it doesn't matter. Now, you're not allowed legally to give financial advice to anyone, nor would I, to be perfectly honest with you, unless you're a financial advisor. And no offense to you financial advisors, but honestly, dudes, if you're not rich, being a financial advisor, you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. We live in a society today where people go to pretend colleges and they get these papers and they don't know anything when they come out. And that's a hard-ass position, but it's true. Don't mind my dog back there flipping his dish around. I have a friend who's got 2 masters in business administration from 2 very prestigious colleges in the United States, and when he went into business, it just about destroyed him because they didn't teach him anything. So, and I also remember I had a call once from a guy who handled my bank accounts for my business in Canada, and he was telling me, if you come and see me, I'll teach you how to invest all this and you'll be wealthy. And I said to him, well, what's your net worth, dude? Well, what does that have to do with anything? Well, if you knew anything, you wouldn't be working for a bank, right? And this is the thing you've kind of got to put in your head. This is the same. I have another guy. I won't say he was a friend. He was an acquaintance. But this guy had a very successful business. He was worth millions. And this guy wouldn't fart without running to his financial advisor. I'm sorry, but this old lady you're talking to is going to get a pension from a bank and get Canada pension and old age pension from Canada. If she wouldn't still be doing what she was doing if she was wealthy. Because this guy was basically retired, living off of investments. Now, the interesting thing was he was making money on the things that he studied, which was the stock market. Right? But anyways, I regress. You're never going to get a straight answer as to why Bitcoin goes up and down, because nobody is ever going to actually really know. And depending on what your purpose is for doing it, right? Why is it that you're thinking that you would like to get into cryptocurrency will dictate how deeply you go into it. Now, it offers you the ability to cut the powers that be out of your spending if you do it well. And we've talked about that. You can violate your privacy very, very easily by using centralized exchanges to make your purchases, etc. Or you can do them directly with the merchant and avoid all of that. Now that upsets the governments, of course, because they think they're getting screwed. The only people that are getting screwed are those of us who are not in the government. Governments have been screwing their people for many, many, many years. You look at the income tax rates. What is it that psycho in the United States? Was it Elizabeth Warren or no? It was Bernie Sanders. That's right. Wants to kick up to a 90% income tax so that he can pay for all his social programs. No, he's senile. Anyways, my purpose for pushing Bitcoin at people is simply to work on getting the government out of your life, out of your pockets. Pay your taxes. Always pay your taxes. It's law. But they don't need to know what you're spending money on. Microsoft doesn't need to know what you're spending money on. Google doesn't need to know what you're spending money on. It's nobody's business but yours. And this is a great tool to do that. But people get concerned about the price fluctuations. Now, China just outlawed Bitcoin again, which is fine. Actually, I'm for that. Because it's a dictatorship. I believe if I was Trump, I would pull my diplomats. We wouldn't have a relationship with China. Period. I don't believe that you should. I believe you should deal with like-minded people. Let's just put it that way. So, I mean, this would not be happening. I would not be dealing with China. However, from a Bitcoin standpoint, they think they're flexing their muscles. They're not. Popularity of Bitcoin, and therefore its price, is going to depend a great deal on the U.S. economy. Because whether you like it or not, it's the number 1 economy in the world, and everything follows it. The U.S. dollar right now is strong, and you could tell it's strong because you compare it to the euro, Right? If you watch, you can watch the price markets. The euro is a very strong currency. It's stronger than the U.S. currency, but that's because of the number of countries that are involved in it. Right? If you take those, if you do away with the EU and you look at those countries individually, it's not going to be the same result. Right? Which, of course, was the idea for doing it. The British pound is very strong, but that also has to do with the fact that they're in Europe. With Brexit, it will be interesting to see what happens to the British pound. I believe Brexit's better for the people, but there's going to be some austerity in there. There always has to be with change. Now, that being said, the U.S. dollar, like it or not, is the focal point. If the U.S. dollar is strong, and right now the U.S. economy is strong, no matter what the tiers of the left say, the U.S. economy is in pretty good shape right at this moment as I'm doing this. There's lots of jobs. There are people out of work. There are people living on the streets. There always will be. No matter whose lie you believe when it comes to politics, that will always happen. It's beyond the scope. I can tell you how to fix that problem, but it's beyond the scope of this channel to do so, so I'm not going to get into it. Now, that in mind, when the economy is strong in the U.S. and people have faith in the U.S. dollar, which they do at this moment, they stop focusing on alternatives. That will bring the Bitcoin price down. Now, this is a good, if you're thinking about it as an investment, it's a good time to do it. But you realize it's going to go up and down like a toilet seat. And if you're going to do something like that for an investment, the smart thing is to hold on to it. And I don't suggest putting a whole lot of money into it. Play with it. If you got $100 that you can live without, that you don't care about losing, buy some Bitcoin with it and just sit back and watch. That way you can learn about what it's going to do and how it's going to react. Right? But only do it if you don't care if you lose it. Right? But in all honesty, that's the way all investments should be done. Right? I had somebody very close to me once who she put a whole bunch of money into mutual funds, which I was against. Because if the bank says it's good for them. It's not good for you. I suggested that she do the research and just invest herself, right, and diversify herself doing that. But she was worried about it, and then the economy started to tank in 2008. So she sold everything at a low. She lost a lot of money on it because she didn't have the belly for doing that kind of thing. Right? You don't do that. Nobody ever lost money in the stock market who didn't sell. Right? It's just paper. It's just a number on paper. At the moment, it's always recovered. Even when it crashed in 29, it recovered. It recovered huge. It crashed in the 80s, it recovered. It always will recover. Unless, of course, the socialists get their way, in which case there won't be a stock market, there will only be government. Anyways, I regress. So that's the reason for the volatility currently, because it took a big dip last weekend. Now, also, China's move to ban it will scare some people, but it's meaningless. China getting out of Bitcoin, I love the idea because a lot of the miners, the heavy mining is done in China. Yeah, go take that mining equipment apart and let's even the playing field again, rather than having investors with multi millions of dollars to try to corner a market in China. Yeah, shut them down and let's give crypto back to the way it's supposed to be, which is if you got a half-assed decent computer and you want to spend the money to mine it, you can do it. Other currencies are like that. Bitcoin, no, you need some money backing you and some power to do it right now. And that's not what it was designed to be like. Now, you may disagree with my video, and that's cool. I have no issues with that. However, and feel free to leave a comment. However, realize I'm a little bit slow getting back to comments because this is not my only focus currently. Is this channel? Someday it may be, but that depends on you guys. Actually, we start to get some people into the Patreon and helping us out with getting new equipment so we can do a better job. I want to actually. I would love to do a video showing you guys how to set up a mining operation, but that takes funding and it is beyond the scope of me doing it by myself. So please consider it. Take a look at the Patreon account. Also remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends, and click the notification bell before YouTube decides that I have somehow or another violated that COPPA thing and they don't want me around anymore. By the way, I will never make a video for children. Why would I say something like that? Hey, My kids are all grown up. Why would I bother? Right, have a great day, guys. Catch you tomorrow. Ciao.